Larry Millete is currently on trial for the murder of his wife Maya, who disappeared the very same day that she contacted a divorce attorney. It has been 5 years and Maya has never been found. Prosecutors say that in early 2021, Larry killed his wife, put her in the back of his Lexus SUV, drove her to a remote location, and disposed of her remains. They also allege that before resorting to murder, Larry tried to manipulate her with subliminal messaging, pheromone. He paid spellcasters he found online to render her incapacitated, and he searched for and obtained something similar to poison hemlock. The evening she disappeared, 9 loud bangs similar to gunfire were heard on a neighbor's security camera. And later police recovered all of these firearms as well as several thousand rounds of ammunition from Larry, but they did not recover one .40 caliber handgun that was registered to Larry. Larry denies any wrongdoing, says that he was treated unfairly. He says police did not look close enough at Maya's affair partner, Jamie Laird, who Larry alleges got Maya pregnant. Larry's defense says Maya is just missing and without a body there's no evidence that a crime even occurred. But Maya's family says she would not just disappear. Larry and Maya had 3 children together, and that weekend they planned to go to Big Bear to celebrate one of their children's birthdays. And Maya's sister, Mary Chris Drule, says that Maya would never miss her child's birthday. And her sister says that Maya and Larry were having marital problems. She says a week before Maya disappeared that Maya revealed that she wanted a divorce. She said, quote, "Get ready, I'm gonna file for divorce and it's gonna be messy." Maya was in a group chat with her family talking about this planned trip for the 9th of January when she suddenly stopped responding to her family on the 7th. And this was only a few days after the camping trip where Maya revealed that she wanted this divorce. Maya has 5 siblings. The family seems very close. At least 4 of them are involved in this. Her brother JR is concerned enough to come to the house to check on her. And Larry says that he was home working all day, but then later corrects himself and says that he was at the beach with his and Maya's 4-year-old son. The other children do online learning from the home, and one of them told JR that she hadn't seen her mom all day, and also that her and her sister had not been fed. This is a 9-year-old we're talking about. Larry is like, Maya is just up in her bedroom sleeping or something. JR knocks on the door repeatedly, calls out her name, she doesn't answer, and he leaves being like, Larry, just tell me when she wakes up. But the next day, the family still has not heard from Maya, so Mary Chris calls 911. She's like, I want to report a missing person with possible domestic violence involved. And she says, my brother-in-law, Larry, has a tendency to be violent. And the next day at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 officers from the Chula Vista Police Department respond to the property. And Larry repeats the same story. He says, I was at the beach all day with my son. He gives police consent to look at his cell phone, and they notice that he's deleted all the text messages between him and Maya, which Larry says is to free up storage on his phone. At first, Maya is treated like a missing person. There was no sign of a struggle at the home, but Maya's family put public pressure on the police, asking them for help finding the 39-year-old mother of 3. They were out conducting search parties for Maya while Larry was allegedly distancing himself and eventually hired a lawyer. Over the next 9 months, police interviewed dozens of witnesses and looked into over 100 tips, and they served a lot of search warrants. And in October 2021, Larry was arrested on suspicion of murder. He was held without bail, and new details about the evidence against him came to light. In an early search warrant, they had recovered this illegal assault rifle. I don't know much about firearms. Is this like a combination of 2 different types of firearm parts that are illegally combined in a way that's non-compliant? If you know, tell me. Anyway, they found this illegal weapon and are charging him related to that as well. They also found 2 Glocks, a shotgun, a rifle, multiple caliber ammunition, numerous firearm parts and add-ons, 3 SD memory cards, and they were also looking for 4 weapons that were registered to Larry that they could not locate. He would not disclose where the firearms were, stating only that he gave them to a friend. Detectives later learned that Larry gave them to his uncle to store for him because he knew law enforcement was coming. They came back a few months later to serve this gun violence restraining order on him, and at that time they seized 3 of the 4 weapons that the uncle had. Also 2 more Glocks that he acquired after the last search warrant, an additional unregistered firearm, numerous firearm parts, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. But the .40 caliber handgun was still missing. The neighbor's security camera had picked up audio of what sounded like 9 gunshots, 9 loud bangs. Because of the audio quality, they were not able to confirm what exactly the sound was. Investigators also learned about Larry's somewhat unhinged internet history. He spent over $1,000 on internet spellcasters. One of them was the California Astrology Association. And to various spellcasters, he sent over 1,700 messages, including these. I would like a powerful love spell to bind my wife to me forever, also for her to love me unconditionally as I love her, to keep her from hurting our family even further. Can you give someone cancer? Please give her the worst nightmares. She needs to be punished for her actions. She's too much sometimes. And then about Maya's alleged affair partner, please make him suffer tenfold in everything he does for his entire lifetime. Are you able to perform hexes or punishment spells? Maya's affair partner, Jamie's wife, was also pregnant during all of this. And Larry said, "May his unborn child be punished for his wrongdoing." The day that Maya disappears, Larry is messaging, "I'm shaking inside, ready to snap. Make her realize we are meant to be with each other. Make her miserable without me. Make her want to sleep on the same bed for all eternity." Then on the 9th, the same day that Mary Chris calls 911, Larry stops asking for any hexes or curses on Maya. He's like, "Remove or stop hexing my wife." And from that point forward, Larry is only requesting spells on Maya's affair partner, Jamie. If you want, pause to read. And as police investigated, they learned more and more about the marital issues between Larry and Maya, and more about Larry's spellcasting stuff. Larry had texted this photo of some sort of altar to Maya's family members, with a photo of Maya and Larry in the middle. This was sent before Maya disappeared. Maya's brother JP says that Larry offered him a few $1,000s to help get rid of her affair partner. JP told Larry it isn't worth it, but Larry reiterated that he wanted to get rid of Jamie on the camping trip they all took over New Year's. Larry also talked to Maya's brother-in-law Toady at a Christmas party in December 2020. He said he wanted to get rid of her boyfriend, but he had to plan it well. He said that Larry sounded serious, but he didn't press him any further. And Maya's other brother, JR, says that on a trip in July of 2020 that Maya revealed her affair to him. And just like everybody else, Larry told him also that he wanted to get rid of Jamie. At one point, Larry wrote to JR's wife, Genesis, and asked for her help. So if you're keeping up, that's 2 brothers, a brother-in-law, and a sister-in-law so far that he's talking to about their marriage. He tells Genesis, "I always say, friends help you move, but real friends help you move dead bodies." And Maya's father, Pablito, testified that Larry showed him a gun. This was about a month before Maya's disappearance, and he took it as a joke. Larry said that he wanted to kill someone, but didn't say who. And Maya's father has already testified in this trial, and in the middle of his testimony, he yelled at Larry, "I loved my daughter very much. Why did you do this?" The defense moved for a dismissal. It did not work. It sounds to me like Larry was trying to control the narrative surrounding his and Maya's marital issues. He wanted Maya's siblings, even her father, to look at things from his perspective. At one point, he told Maya's sister, Mary Chris, that Maya was having a midlife crisis and just needed to take certain vitamins. And investigators learned that Maya had recently refused to take the vitamins that Larry was giving her because she said they make her drowsy. Which is interesting because when police pulled Larry's internet search history, here are some of the searches that they pulled out. Plant you take to never wake up. Water hemlock. My wife doesn't want me to touch her. A search about rohypnol and its generic counterpart. Hemlock flower known to be poisonous, the poison from which was found in Larry's home. How painful is fatal hemlock poisoning? What's the best poison for fast death? How to mentally torture someone with words. Psychological torture. How to mentally torture someone. I don't know how subtle he was being, but she figured out that he was trying to subliminally message her. It seemed like she was trying to gather evidence for her divorce on a private folder on a computer. And in the folder, there were several sound recordings of these subliminal type messages, including sex drive libido enhancer with my husband, and no more men, and blessed family life. He also searched, can you track an iPhone if it's on airplane mode? You can pause to read this too. Police also located a computer in one of the daughter's bedrooms, primarily to be used by the child, but also contained a file folder labeled Daddy's File. These contain videos of sex acts between Larry and Maya, and Larry insisted that only a female detective be allowed to view those videos, which police agreed to. For some reason, Larry argues that police did not look closely enough at Jamie Laird, the affair partner. His defense lawyers argue that Jamie also was acting suspicious, and he also deleted text messages between him and Maya. But investigators say Jamie has a pretty good alibi. Jamie's then wife, now ex-wife, was in labor at the hospital giving birth to their child the day that Maya disappeared. They went to the hospital on the 7th, the baby was born on the 8th, they were in the hospital for a few days after. But police could not corroborate Larry's alibi. They say he was suspiciously absent from work on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of January, and Larry's boss even became concerned enough that he reached out to Maya, who obviously did not answer. And trigger warning if you followed the Karen Reed trial. Security footage shows Larry adjusting his black Lexus SUV the morning of January 8th. He leaves at 6:45 a.m. with his 4-year-old son and is gone for 11 hours. He tells police that he's at a beach that's about 4 miles away. But the Lexus infotainment system shows that about 3:30 p.m. he entered in his home address to navigate home, and then didn't get home for another 2.5 hours. His phone was also uncharacteristically turned off the entire time he was gone from the house, and it was foggy with a high of 63 degrees that day. Police checked the Lexus with luminol and found some areas that might be positive for blood, but it was also streaky as if it had been cleaned, and they couldn't get a definitive answer on is it blood. This trial is ongoing and expected to last at least 2 more months, and it's also not being streamed, which makes some details very difficult to pin down. All of this has been a combination of various media reporting. The affair partner and his wife are both on the witness list. Larry also contacted journalists from inside the jail to complain about his unfair treatment, which he wrote a whole letter about. That's everything I know about this. I'm not going to do daily updates on this trial, but I will do bulk updates. Love you guys, drink water, bye!